Many of the network switches compatible with the HXU-1 require some setup. For instance, the unit that I'm going to use to demonstrate this is a Planet network switch, which is a WebSmart switch, but unlike some other WebSmart switches, requires that you actually set up the IGMP snooping as well as the jumbo frame support. So you'll have to go to the web page. Now I've reconfigured the default IP address and put it on the same network as the HXUs, as you'll see with the 169.254 IP address. And there are a handful of things that you'll have to look at. With the system, you'll find the system information, which contains the MAC address, IP address that's active, subnet mask, etc., etc. Under miscellaneous configuration, you have the option to change those if you wanted it to be a DHCP enabled device or what have you. I simply changed the IP address, subnet mask, and gateway, as well as fixing the inactivity timeout to infinite, to no limit for this particular switch to give me a little more time to work. The next stage is port configuration. It is required that you activate the jumbo frame setting, which defaults to disabled. You want to switch it to 9600 bytes. This is the speed necessary to handle the jumbo frames. And you should also drop the frames after excessive collision. That just keeps it from locking up in theory. I've also gone through and set the mode rather than auto speed to 1000 full gigabit speed, which you'll see from the feedback on this particular Planet device. It recognizes that it's a full duplex device at full gigabit speed, and then you have to apply this difference. As you move into storm control, you want to check and confirm that there's no limit on the rates it allows for multicasting and unicasting, etc. There are several more advanced settings for VLANs, etc. Most of this the average person won't have to set up for one of our networks, so you should be able to slip down to IGMP snooping. You must make sure that IGMP snooping is enabled. On this particular line of switches, it does not come enabled, and you must enable it. You do not, however, want to activate the routing ports. That will disable your ability to access the switch's web browser, as everything thinks it's to be routed somewhere. And I'm allowing unregistered IPMC flooding, as many large multimedia files require that. And those are the major settings that you have to run through on the Planet switch. And that should enable you to not only pass the video from the HXU-1 transmitters to receivers, but manage them through the network. I have found that the Planet switch does seem to be a little slower than some of the other switches out there and is a little more intense to set up. So should you use those, please feel free to call me if you come across any questions. These should be the major settings that you need to hit. Good luck, and we hope to hear lots of good stuff about the HXU-1s out in the field. Thanks for watching.